Good day to everyone joining us, and welcome to today's X Talks webinar. Today's talk is entitled Modular Real-Time Monitoring in Pharmaceutical Cold Chain. My name is Sonia Hunt, and it's my pleasure to be your X Talks moderator for today. Today's webinar will run for approximately 60 minutes. This presentation includes a Q&A session with our speakers. This webinar is designed to be interactive, and webinars work best when you're involved. So please feel free to submit questions and comments for our speakers throughout the presentation using the questions chat box, and we'll try to attend to your questions during the Q&A session. Now, this chat box is located in the control panel, and that's found on the right-hand side of your screen. If you require assistance, please contact me at any time by sending me a message using that chat panel. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Please note that this event will be recorded and made available to you for future streaming on xtalks.com. At this point, I'd like to thank Berlinger and Company AG who developed the content for this presentation. The Swiss company Berlinger develops, produces, and distributes innovative condition monitoring solutions for pharmaceutical and medical technology products with the aim to further improve efficiency and increase patient safety. Since its inauguration in 1865, Berlinger is a family business which allows them to think far beyond quarterly results. Berlinger is fully committed to long-term customer success as they think in generations. Innovation and quality are key for Berlinger to deliver customer success. They invest a considerable part into R&D to stay innovative, as they have done for the last 156 years, and are truly international, proudly partnering with leading pharmaceutical companies and key healthcare organizations in over 175 countries. Now it's my pleasure to introduce you to your speakers for today's webinar. And first, I'd like to introduce you to our first speaker, Thomas Bechter. He is the CEO of Berlinger, and there he is. Thomas has over 20 years experience in international senior management positions for leading brands in various industries, including automotive, consumer electronic, and wholesale, with a focus on business remodeling and transformation. Thomas holds a master's degree in business administration from the University of Bradford. And next, I'd like to introduce you to Marina Baer. She is the segment manager, Pharma and Life Science at Berlinger. She has extensive experience in the field of pharmaceutical cold chain, including conditioning monitoring, temperature control, packaging, and logistics. Marina has a proven track record in implementing hardware, software, and services solutions for the pharmaceutical companies successfully on a global scale, with a focus on requirements and process definition, qualification, as well as operational and economic realization. And next, I'd like to introduce you to Bernd Heisterkamp. He is the head of research at Berlinger. He has over 20 years experience as a digital leader, head of engineering, and international project manager. Bernd has a in-depth know-how in development of connected devices with multidisciplinary teams. Besides his technical knowledge, Bernd can profit from his extensive experience in business model innovation and digitalization in an industrial sector. Now, it's my pleasure to pass over the mic to our first speaker, Thomas. So, Thomas, when you're ready, you may begin.
Thank you, Sonia, for the great introduction, and a very warm welcome to the audience from my side as well. Innovation has been always at the core of Berlinger's DNA, since the Berlinger family founded the company 156 years ago. Otherwise, it is impossible to sustainably grow a company over 15 decades. For over 30 years now, we are serving pharma customers in over 175 countries with our innovative monitoring solutions for their valuable goods. And we only develop monitoring solutions for the pharma industry. Our customers deserve our full attention, and we don't want to make any compromises. However, innovation must always serve customer needs and deliver a clear value as well. Berlinger's new smart system, with its unique modular real-time technology, does exactly this. Smart system allows, thanks to its modularity, automated real-time transparency with a high degree of flexibility at lower costs in an open platform. A further key aspect taken into consideration developing our new smart system is sustainability. It is natural for a family-owned company not only to hand over a healthy business from one generation to the next generation, but as well a healthy environment. Therefore, our goal is to launch the first zero-impact monitoring solution for our pharma customers. Now, we are already going to the first poll question, addressing the challenges in the pharmaceutical cold chain. So I hand back to Sonia.
Thank you very much, Thomas, for more detail about the company. And yes, I am now going to launch our first poll questions. So audience members, you'll see it appear right there on your screen, and there it is. Now, this is done in real time, so I really appreciate your participation in this poll question, and I strongly encourage it. And I'll give you about 45 seconds to complete the simple poll question. And the poll question is, what is the biggest challenge in your cold chain in relation to condition monitoring? So we have a couple of options below to choose from. One is cost of real time, lack of transparency, or timely availability of data, or sustainability. So please go ahead and cast your votes. It looks like we have the majority of our audience have done so. So thank you very much for that. For those of you who have not, can you please go ahead and do so now? I'd be greatly appreciative of that. Okay, that looks like it's the majority of our audience. So thank you, everyone. I'm now going to close the polls and share the results with everyone. Okay, so let's just take a look at the results of our first poll question. And the question, of course, was, what is the biggest challenge in your cold chain in relation to conditioning monitoring? And we have 27% are saying cost of time, 12% are saying lack of transparency, and we have 54% are saying timely availability of data, and then 8% are saying sustainability. So thank you everyone for participating in that last poll question. And now I believe we're going to go over to Marina. So before Marina starts her presentation, Marina, what do you think about the results of the poll question?
Yeah, thank you, Sonia, for that, and thank you, the audience, for participating. It definitely aligns also with the feedback that we have received from our customers. And that actually leads into the first slide that we would like to present here, which is basically the outcome of interviews that we have conducted, market analysis that we have performed, tender documentation that we have reviewed to summarize the most burning challenges in condition monitoring in the pharmaceutical cold chain. And time is for sure one of the aspects that we will cover there. But let's start with cost, so the need for cost reduction. So many of you may be still working with a non-real-time solution, and there is quite a big gap in terms of cost moving from a non-real-time solution to a real-time solution. And maybe you're working with two disconnected solutions, so a real-time and a non-real-time. And of course, that then causes high admin costs, but could also cause duplication of information and not having a connected view of data because you don't have a connection between these two solutions. The second point then that was mentioned by our customer, but which we also see here as a challenge, is due to the disconnection between these solutions. You have this lack of transparency because you're generating data silos, and maybe you don't have access to the data at all because you're working with some third-party suppliers and you're really struggling to get that data back from them. And so having two solutions in terms of monitoring is one challenge, but then also not having those solutions integrated in your system environment, in your ERP or your quality system. Then we talk about the lack of digitalization and automation. And there, then of course, the time aspect comes in that the majority and the large majority of you mentioned is that you don't have timely availability of data. You may be chasing data from wholesalers or from logistics providers that you'd really need for your audit trail. And that is, we believe, also due to the manual processes that we see today. that are time intense and also error prone, because we are reading out USBs, we are saving data, and that's of course done by human beings, and as human beings we make mistakes, and therefore we then see errors in the data as well. And that then leads to the fifth point that you see here is the quality. So how are you then able to take effective quality decisions on product release or quarantine of product if you have to go around gathering data? And what is clear then, that of course has an effect on the speed of availability of your products to the patient. So that's all about patient safety then. And the sustainability aspect, that's really an overarching topic over the whole condition monitoring topic. So we know there is a regulatory need for monitoring, which of course is due to patient safety, which is needed, but it poses a challenge on you, because you cannot reduce or get rid of this monitoring. So you need to find ways to address your environmental targets by working with a provider that supports on product level, but also on a company level, the sustainability topic. And there we want to evaluate together with you which aspects have a real impact on your sustainability targets, and then provide you with options, because the feasibility of the options of course also depends on the organization. So there we would be, we want to have an exchange to see where we can support you. And that brings me to the summary of the system, and what does it mean covering all these challenges in the pharmaceutical cold chain. So to cover all the challenges, it's then necessary to have a system approach. So that's the Berlinger smart system. You need to have an integrated solution that's compatible, so hardware and software is compatible, but that also is compliant. So we are working in a very regulated environment, and the compliance of the system for sure is also provided by developing these two aspects together. And what the system approach also delivers is flexibility. So which we understand also in nowadays environment where we see constantly changing environments, we need to have flexibility. And then the services are also key when we talk about the system. They are of course to support the hardware and the software, but it also is to address new requirements that you see as a result of these changing environments and changing needs. So then I would like to focus a bit on the hardware just now. We are not able to cover the whole system and explain you all the system, but we are very excited to give you some insights into the hardware under the smart monitor, which is the device that you see on the picture. What is it all about? So let's start from the left. Intuitive handling was one of the key items that we heard from our customers before we went into the smart monitor development. Key there, it needs to be self-explanatory and simple. So we wanted to develop a device that can be handled in a way as we know it from the consumer side. There we often have just one device, we have a single button, so there is no confusion, but we have a display, we have some LEDs that help with interactions, but then again also on, for example, the display icons, we want to work with known icons from the consumer side, icons that everyone knows from their phone or from other appliances, so that there is no confusion. We don't want to invent any icons that are just relevant for our device. The second point that is mentioned here on the slide is just-in-time decision making. What is that all about? As Berlinger, we are serving customers, as Sonja mentioned, in more than 175 countries. And I believe everyone can understand that it is very challenging, or maybe not possible at all, with any technology to guarantee connectivity all the time, everywhere. We know this from our personal lives as well. There are times when a network is down, or when maybe we are in a cellar and we have really low connectivity, so we're not able to send data. So we need to have a backup there, because the customers that we serve, they still need to be able to take a decision on the warehouse floor whether a product is good or not on a tick or cross basis. And that's why we have the display. But also as a backup, then if we're talking about product release, for any reason you're not also not able to establish connectivity at a later place, we still have the option for a manual readout of the data. That then brings me to the third point that you see, multiple condition monitoring. So the additional, that's all about additional sensors in the device that give you more insights into the handling and the transportation of your goods. So where was my product handled, how, and do I need to improve anywhere to be able to guarantee safe delivery of your products in the future. And there, with additional sensors, we can really achieve proactive optimization. So we can link events, for example, like a temperature deviation, if we know that the package was dropped 3 hours earlier, then that allows much more conclusive kappa reporting as well. And then if we move on to the modularity that is also mentioned there, what is that about? So we have customers that have quite diverse product portfolios. So that means they have different monitoring requirements. In some, they want to have really a lot of insights and visibility, and on others, maybe they don't need that level of monitoring. So the modularity is all about combining real-time and non-real-time in one system. And all of this we, of course, need to do according to pharma standard accuracy. And there, because we only develop devices for the healthcare and pharma industry, we really are able to focus on the regulatory requirements, the standards that you have to adhere to. So that really allows us to focus by just serving the pharma market with this with our devices. Good. Then let's go a bit into the detail of what do we mean with the platform approach, or what is the modular real-time all about. So now we're talking about being able to cover temperature ranges from down to -196 up to +75 with one device. And with a total of 4 devices, we can then also cover site monitoring for fridge and freezers. So that's mainly in the clinical environment where you're in a hospital, and or in a global health environment where you're monitoring vaccines in the fridge. There we define between site and shipment monitoring. We also distinguish between reuse and single use with the ship L and the ship M. That was a clear intention from us, because we understand that there are destinations where you are not able to facilitate such a reuse model. And therefore, we also have a single-use option. And then, of course, we have a real-time and a non-real-time option with the ship S as a non-real-time device. And this, we believe, will simplify your stock management and, again, provide greater flexibility for you. And of course, having such a platform approach, if we talk about the technical approach of it and the development of it, is of course ensures compatibility. And then finally, and that's what we will focus a bit more on now, is the intercommunication between those devices and how that can reduce cost for you while increasing patient safety. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So most of our customers and most of our pharmaceutical companies, they have, as we mentioned, a diverse product portfolio. So on the one hand side, you have new products, complex products that also have complex supply chains and very stringent temperature requirements. So there it's all about patient centricity. You want to know where the product is. You want to know how it's handled when it arrives. So it really requires close monitoring. So it's all to ensure patient safety. And this is actually at the core of Berlinger, and with our promise and our DNA saying feel safe. So that's what we want to achieve with our products. So on the one hand, you have those let's call them demanding products. On the other hand, you have established mature products. So there it's all about volume. You need cost optimization, you need automation, and maybe you don't have the need to have real-time visibility on every pallet. So there you want to combine traditional non-real-time devices with real-time devices, maybe to achieve automation as well. So you have, sorry, that was my plant, that just fell from the shelf. So yeah, that's where you have the combination, and that's when it's all about modular real-time. And the ability to combine the real-time is then the smart intercommunication that we have developed and that delivers real value. And there I would like to give the word to Bernd, who is of course the technical expert, and to give us some more insights into the benefits, but also the technical aspects of it.
Thanks a lot, Marina. As we heard before, active tracking of devices brings quite some advantages for cold chain monitoring. However, technically, that is quite a challenge. We would like to have worldwide connectivity. We do not want to drain the battery by these by the communication itself, which takes a lot of battery. And also, we'd like to keep the communication costs very low. Now, with our innovative Bluetooth intercommunication, we are actually addressing two of these topics directly. So Bluetooth intercommunication means that the smaller devices, the shipment S, which are not fitted with cellular connectivity, can communicate with a larger device like the shipment L, and then transmit their data so that it is forwarded to the cloud. The Bluetooth communication takes much less energy as the cellular communication, so that is really battery saving. And of course, since we do not need to have a SIM card for every single device, we can also reduce the communication costs. Now, when it comes to the worldwide connectivity, the shipment L is a device which is fitted with narrowband IoT. Narrowband IoT is actually future-proof. The telecom providers, they are now more and more upgrading their network to support narrowband IoT. Narrowband IoT has been also optimized for these kind of devices, meaning not a large amount of data and really taking only little energy, right? However, that is something which is not yet available all over the world, so we need fallback technology, and that's where 2G comes into the play. So we have 2G as fallback, so in case there is no narrowband IoT connectivity, we can always go back to 2G. And therefore, addressing these points, worldwide connectivity, low battery consumption, and reduced communication costs. And with this, I hand back to Sonia for the next poll question.
Thank you very much for that, Bernd. Yes, it's now time for poll question number 2, and I'm going to launch it right now. So audience members, you should see it right there on your screen. And there it is. And the question that we have for you today is, do you already work with a condition monitoring solution that supports product release on product pallet during kit level? So please select one of the below. We have yes, we do, no, but we are planning to, or no, we are not planning to optimize in this area. So please go ahead and cast your vote. As you know, it's done in real time. So I'm very appreciative of your participation in this. Okay, that looks like it's the majority of our audience. I'll give a few more seconds for those of you who have not. If you can go ahead and do so now, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Great. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I'm now going to close the polls and share the results with you. Okay, so let's take a look at the results. The question again was, do you already work with a condition monitoring solution that supports product release on product pallet drug kit level? And we have the results here. We have 59% who are saying, yes, we do. We have 32% are saying no, but we are planning to. And then we have only 9% who are saying, no, we are not planning to optimize this area. So thank you, everyone, for participating in that last poll question. Marina, I believe it's back to you. And maybe we can get a little bit of your opinion on the results.
Yeah, thank you, Sonia. Yeah, it's really good to see that the audience is striving for integration or already has some way of integration, and that's also what we mentioned at the beginning and what we have seen feedback from our customer and from the market, that this transparency is really needed, and it's also needed not just from an operational point of view, but from a quality assurance point of view. And that's where I would like to focus on a bit. So what is required to achieve that transparency, and then following have deeper insights into monitoring levels, like mentioned in the poll question. So the first point that is key is stakeholder collaboration. So being open to sharing data, your stakeholders being open to integrations with the end game to achieve better quality decisions. So this is really imperative, we believe, in the months and years to come. Because then, of course, when we talk about system integration, then you can avoid those data silos. So integrating an ERP, for example, with a condition monitoring platform, our SmartView, then, or it could even be a quality, a transport, or another system, that really depends on where is the data that is relevant for your conditioning monitoring process and the related decisions. And of course, that's in a way also unique to every company. But for sure, those two elements will help us to achieve data completeness, and also the automation of this data, which is key for the time aspect that was mentioned by many participants in the audience at the very beginning. And it will, but of course, also help us to generate more transparency. And that is needed for effective and efficient quality decisions. In the clinical trial environment, we are already doing this at Berlinger through integration of our software, SmartView, with, for example, IRT companies. And there we are working also with all stakeholders of the chain. So we're working with the CROs, we're working with the sponsors, we're working with the IRTs, And that allows us to already make decisions on a drug kit level. So that really helps our customers to speed up the process in terms of time. And of course, in the pharma industry, we have a different setup. We have different stakeholders that are involved. So we have the forwarders involved, we have the packaging company involved, but still we believe that in the future, and it's already happening now, it will be necessary to not just make decisions on a shipment level with a temperature monitoring solution. And we see ongoing efforts of the industry to have that better, also better traceability. Also, regulatory becoming stricter year on year will have an effect on that. So when you have to start not only to show to regulatory what went wrong, show me your kappa for your deviation, for the shipments where you have a deviation, but when you have to show all that everything was okay and you did not have a deviation, then you really want to work with a monitoring platform where you have all that data in one platform and where you have a view on your product level. So with the future efforts of the industry moving into that direction to have better traceability, and not just traceability, as we said, now on the product level, but being able to trace temperature data down to API level, so active pharmaceutical ingredients level or intermediates, to confirm whether a product is good or not. Then, and not just evaluating every data leg as a separate entity, also like a separate leg, then you want to have the overview of the product cycle. And there, I think you then want to have a solution which does not only allow you in a way operational supply chain condition monitoring on a shipment level. Then you want to work with a platform that supports that those monitoring levels to have those better view and to have in the end, of course, better quality assurance, because let's face it, I mean, the reason of being also for us as Berlinger is quality assurance, delivering safe products. And we also want to support supply chain operation as part of that. But key for our solution is to support the quality assurance at the end. Yeah, that's it on this topic. I think now it's back to Sonja for our final topic, a very important topic that we have also addressed at the beginning. So we'd like to share our insights and our vision on that. But first, back to Sonja, we'd like to hear the audience view on that topic.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I will launch the final poll question right now. So audience members, here it is, the final poll question. Okay, so the question that we have for you is, which measures are you already taking or are planning to take to reduce the environmental impact of condition monitoring? So please select from the below. We have implement reusable devices where possible, implement recyclable devices where possible, market research of possible zero impact options, or D, none of the above. All right, so it looks like we have half of our audience have cast their votes. If we can get the remainder to do so now, and then I will share the results like I did before with everyone. Okay, that looks like it's a majority of our members, our audience members. I'll give a few more seconds for those of you who have not, if you could do so now. Okay, perfect. That looks like it's the majority of everyone. Thank you everyone for participating. I'm now going to close the polls and share the results. Okay, so let's take a look at the results. Which measures are you already taking or plan to take to reduce the environmental impact of condition monitoring? And we have 35% are saying implement reusable devices where possible, 30% saying implement recyclable devices where possible, 15% are saying market research of possible zero impact options, and only 20% are saying none of the above. So thank you everyone for participating in that final poll question. And now I'm going to pass it back to Marina. What do you think about the results, Marina?
Thank you, Sonia. That's a really good outcome. We're really glad to see that that's where the industry and the stakeholders are moving towards, because that's also where we're moving towards. And yeah, that brings us to our final topic that we would like to highlight here in a bit more detail is the sustainability topic that Thomas mentioned at the beginning. So we see this, and we have heard this from the market and customers. This is one of the top 2-3 priorities within pharma companies to have a solution that supports their sustainability targets. And with with implementing real-time solution, for sure we will support that in the way that we want to reduce the product waste for our customers. So through that transparency, we can of course we can intervene earlier and that way avoid that product waste. Because I mean the product waste, it's not just a challenge in terms of destruction of product, it's cost, it's compliance in any way. It's a really not a nice topic, and also with regards to sustainability, it's really not ideal. So we really need to ensure less deviation based on better data. Then secondly, as you see there, we want to increase the number of reuse devices. So from our initial analysis, really, and I think that's also understandable, the highest impact on the footprint has the reuse. If you are able to start to reuse the devices, because manufacturing a new device, new components, the energy that is related to the manufacturing process, of course, that's not in relation with the logistics that may be involved in such a reuse case. So for us, it's really clear that reuse is the way forward in condition monitoring to achieve better sustainability. At the same time, we also understand, and we mentioned that on some lanes in some countries with some end customers, maybe this is not feasible for you. But even if we talk about the reuse devices, they will also have an end of life and will have to be disposed at some point. And there, the recycling process allows us to disassemble the device and really being able to dispose of every component in the appropriate way. And yeah, so that is what we can do on a product level. But as Thomas mentioned on the beginning, the sustainability topic is really on a strategic level for us. So as a company as a whole, we want to achieve better customers, better sustainability for us, but also for our customers. And therefore, I'd like to hand back to Thomas on the last point, how we are doing that.
Thank you, Marina. For instance, renewable resources are for the Berlinger Group an important topic. For instance, how our devices are being produced or how our services are being delivered. That could be the use of renewable energy in our factories, carefully selected components and suppliers, or shorter shipping routes from the factories to our customers. All these points together, as mentioned as well by Marina, aim at launching the first zero impact product on the market. So now, please allow me to summarize what we have just presented. First, thanks to Berlinger's modular real-time technology and its BLE intercommunication, Smart System pushes real-time monitoring to a new level with a high degree of flexibility at lower costs for our customers. Second, Berlinger Smart System is an open platform allowing various integration of other software and hardware systems, being it your TMS or ERP software or your already installed third-party warehouse monitoring hardware, allowing a true end-to-end monitoring. Please don't walk into the trap and lock yourself into a closed ecosystem, leaving blind spots in your supply chain. Third, sustainability in two forms. The first one, trust into a family-owned company that is around for more than 15 decades and develops and markets monitoring system exclusively for the pharma industry. And second, but as well, the goal of our new smart system being the first zero impact product on the market. So thank you so much for your attention. Now we are ready for your questions. So I hand back to Sonja.
Well, thank you very much. First, before we start the question period, I'd like to say thank you to Thomas, Marina, and Bernd for that very insightful presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And now, just like Thomas said, we're going to begin the Q&A portion of the webinar. So now I would like to invite our audience members to continue sending in your questions right now using the questions window for the Q&A portion of the webinar. I've already received some questions already from our audience members, so I'm going to start with those. So Thomas, Marina, and Bernd, are you ready? Okay,
Yes.
here is our first question. Okay, this audience member is asking, this person said, you mentioned I am able to reduce the cost of real time with your new system. How much can I save with your solution? This question looks like it may be for you, Marina.
Yes, thank you, Sonja, and thank you for the question from the audience. Yeah, we expect to achieve up to 60% saving with modular real time. Compared to existing real-time solution on the market. But of course, it also depends on the business case of the participant to ask the question, how many, so when we look at the amount of devices, how many devices per pallet, how many devices per shipment, but also taking a holistic view of condition temperature monitoring. So looking at the cost of procurement, but also looking at the cost of quality, the cost of operating a solution, or maybe the cost of operating to disconnected solution. So there we really want to discuss the whole value of the system, and therefore an exact analysis of a business case is needed to specify the number or the amount of savings for a specific customer.
Thank you very much.
I hope that helps.
It was very thorough, that answer. That's what I know. Now we have another lengthy question here. Actually, it's a combination of two people asking this question. So I think it may be for you, Bernd. So here's the first part of it. What are the challenges to covering connectivity, and how does Berlinger ensure that the best connectivity can be achieved? And we have another audience member that was saying how he would like to understand how the communication comes out in remote territories. Is there a satellite connection?
Yes, thanks a lot for this question. Well, let me start with the second part of the question first regarding the satellite connection. No, there is no satellite communication. That would require large antennas and a lot of power to communicate. I think that would not be suitable for battery operated devices. The thing is, what we cover is as a fallback solution is 2G, and 2G is a standard which you can see has a large penetration in the world. In particular in a lot of third world countries, you will see that actually they even jumped the technology of landlines and jumped straight to the mobile communication, which is actually based on 2G. Nowadays here in Europe, in many parts of the world already, Asia, Americas, there's the 5G technology has been quite advanced already. And so there's the 5G communication, there's a lot of parts to it. And I mean, people are talking about really huge data streams. That's not what we need, but one part of this 5G technology is this narrowband IoT, and that is actually really optimized for this kind of devices. And we are very sure that this will be spread over the entire world pretty soon anyway, right? So for the time being, we are good to go with 2G as fallback and 5G as a main part of the communication. And then please keep in mind, it's actually, if the communication is not continuous, the devices, they store the data, of course. So whatever is not transmitted immediately is stored on the device, and as soon as the connectivity is there, then it's transmitted.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Bernd, for that. I'm going to go on to the next question now. This question is, can we have geolocation with the real-time data logger? Who would like to take that one?
Thank you, Sonja. And
We'll take that one? Okay.
Yeah, I will take it happily. So thanks for the question. Yes, we are able to support geolocation with real-time devices. We have implemented the GPS in the ship L, so that gives a really good accuracy, but also with the cellular, we are able to support geolocation in the ship M device.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask with all the questions that are coming in. Okay, let's go on to our next question. What is the difference between modular, real-time, and real-time? Maybe this is for you again, Marina.
Yeah, thank you. That's also a really good question. So what is the difference? Real-time, if you are using a real-time solution that only provides real-time monitoring, then of course you get insights on every pallet level. You have yeah, in a more high, but of course that also causes then in a way high device costs, and as Bernd mentioned earlier, also we are talking about communication costs. So modular real-time is combining real-time and non-real-time. So the devices are able to talk to each other, and that way you can get the benefits of both technology, but also you can achieve automation through the integrated solution approach.
Okay, thank you. Here is our next question. Is Berlinger able to deliver T and RH monitoring devices?
Do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I can, of course, I can answer this one.
Okay.
I think T and RH, so we're talking about temperature and relative humidity. And yes, so the devices, new sensors, actually we have an overview on which device can deliver. Not all devices will, for example, be suitable for relative humidity, but but the answer is still yes. Of course, relative humidity is also part of the sensor technology inside those. For example, in the shipment L.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to add to that? Marina, you're good. Thomas, you're good? Okay. All right, I'll go on to the next question. This member is asking, zero impact. Do you have a label for this? Maybe this is for Thomas?
Yes, thank you, Sonja, and thank you for the question. Not yet we have a label, but we are working with an external consultancy / auditing company. Together we are aiming at getting that label. So at the moment we're doing in-depth quantitative analysis of existing products and then the new smart system. And the goal is first, like in the production process and then in the use case to eliminate as much as possible carbon footprint. However, there will be always a remaining part, and that part we will offset with special projects together with the certification body, so that we can really get that zero impact product label. And together with that label and the quantitative data, we are able to provide an entire support package to our customers, so that they can use that data or the entire support package for their CSR or sustainability reporting.
Okay, thank you very much. Here is our next question. Do you have plans for shock and light measurements too?
Yes, of course, we did. That is actually also part of the new sensing technology. The light sensors actually help to detect, for example, if a box has been unintentionally opened, and the shock, of course, if a package has dropped off a pellet or something like that. So that is also part of the sensing technology. Yes.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much. Here's our next question. How does the real-time logger track with air freight shipments? I'd like to take that.
Thank you, Sonia.
Okay.
I will take that. That's also a good question. So, of course, during air freight, we are not allowed to have connectivity. So we need to have measures to go into a flight mode. So actually, we are not tracking during air transport. But as soon as the shipment and the goods are landing and we have connectivity again, then we are able to reconnect automatically. But also I think we don't have connectivity, so you're at that point not able to get real-time data. But I think it would be quite hard for stakeholders to intervene during air shipment. So that's why we're going into flight mode, which we have to do according to regulatory.
Okay, thank you very much. And we'll go on to our next question now. All right, and the next question is, how many Bluetooth sensors can be connected to the main real-time data logger?
Yeah, I can take that one.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, so basically, I mean, the specification is not entirely finalized, but what we can say today already, it will not be very critical since there is no parallel communication. So it's more sequential, and therefore you can actually extend the number of devices. So in total, we think that will be communication will be possible to 6-7 devices. However, also please keep in mind, Bluetooth communication is not for long range. So it will be always anyway grouped, so that we are of the opinion that if we have the central device and then 5 to 6 satellite devices, that will be more than sufficient for most use cases.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay, let's go on to our next question here. When is the system available? Who would like to answer that one?
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah, we're really excited to launch the system at the beginning of next year. Of course, there are some dependencies that we have on regulatory, but those are all planned in. So, and if all goes well and we're confident that it will, then the system will be available at the beginning of next year. But of course, we are already happy to introduce you the system and give you more details and insights into the platform and the details, also those questions that were asked now about sensors, battery, etc. Please feel free to reach out anytime and we'll be happy to give you more insights.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I'm going to try to squeeze in one more question, okay? Here it is. What is key for switching from non-real-time to real-time?
Okay, that's also a good question. So key, we believe, is really that we're now talking about a system approach. So we are not talking anymore about a fire and forget solution. So we need to consider that there is a combination of hardware and software when we talk about real time. And also because a lot of the intelligence is actually moved from the logger to the software, but that also provides that flexibility that we talked about. And I believe that the real value is in the data. So if you don't have a platform where you then are able to analyze that data, where you can get insights, where you can track and acknowledge the deviations, where all these things are automatically and in a very simple way tracked, of course in a compliant way, then you're not able to get the full value out of real time. And what we see is that in some companies or in your organization, maybe that will need a change in mindset if we talk about or compare it to the traditional way of monitoring. And whilst an additional system may seem like, because they will always find it like a pain to have another platform that they need to work on or requires additional processes. But that's why we really recommend to have that integration of the system, because then you can work with the known system as a front end, and only those key users like the quality that need to have a deeper dive into the data will then go into our system to evaluate that. So there, for sure, we can achieve also again that acceptance from your stakeholders through integration. So because stakeholder involvement and of course acceptance, onboarding is key for the success of such a solution.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Marina, for answering that question. And thank you very much, Thomas and Bernd. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for sending your questions. We have reached the end of the Q&A portion of the webinar. If we couldn't attend to your questions, and there's a number of them there, please direct them to Berlinger, because the team there are more than happy to address your questions and send you and connect with you to find you solutions. Now, if you have any further questions, there's an email address that you can use. So please go ahead and utilize it. And it's info@berlinger.com. So please go ahead and connect with the team there. Thank you everyone for participating in today's webinar. You will be receiving a follow-up email from XTalks with access to the recorded archive for this event. A survey window will be popping up on your screen. Your participation is appreciated, as it will help us to improve on our further webinars. Now, I'm about to send you a link in your chat box, so give me a few seconds to send that to you. You'll be able to view the recording of this event at that link, and also share that link with your colleagues when they register for the recording as well. So I encourage you to do that. Now, please join us in thanking our speakers, Thomas, Marina, and Bert, for that very insightful presentation. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect, thank you. We hope you found this webinar informative. It has been my pleasure to be your webinar moderator. On behalf of the team here at XTalks, we thank you for joining us. I'm Sonia Hunt. Until next time, please take care, and bye for now. Bye, everyone. Thanks again, Thomas, Marina, and Bart. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.